the bill upon reconsideration is not passed.
Well, the U.S. government is officially shut down. It's out of money because Congress can't agree on a funding plan. The main sticking point has been health care. Democrats want to reverse Medicaid cuts and stop Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies from expiring. Rachel Hersheimer is at our Washington bureau with more on this. Rachel, you're tracking signs of the shutdown, not just there in Washington, but across the country.
To determine what is open during a government shutdown, it really all has to do with what's essential versus non-essential. So right here in Washington, D.C., the doors to the Washington Monument will remain closed until the government reopens. No more tours for now. The Smithsonian museums have enough money to stay open until Monday. Across the country, U.S. Postal Service will continue. Medicare and Medicaid programs and services will resume, but staffing shortages could mean delays for some services like the mailing of Medicare cards. Social Security payments will go out, and if you're flying soon, you should not be impacted. Air traffic controllers, TSA agents are expected to remain on the job and receive pay retroactively. And Health and Human Services will furlough about 41% of its staff out of nearly 80,000 employees.
You know, it's not ideal. It will mean that we'll have to tighten our belts. I think I am fortunate to have a husband who also has a job that is not in the federal government. If it's a week or 2 weeks, we'll be okay. If it's, months, that will be trickier.
This shutdown doesn't just impact people in the nation's capital. About 80% of federal employees live outside of Washington, D.C., and the Congressional Budget Office estimates that 750,000 employees could be furloughed each day of the shutdown. In Washington, I'm Rachel Hersheimer.
Yeah, people across the country, coast to coast, they're going to feel the impacts of the government shutdown. That includes right here in Oklahoma. We talked with a contractor with the feds. They didn't want to be named, wanted to stay anonymous, but they told us right now all they can do is just wait.
For us as a contractor, it would be kind of like you're going to get sent home and we'll call you whenever it's time to come back and whenever the government decides to open everything back up.
We also talked yesterday with Senator James Lankford ahead of this shutdown, before it even happened, about the negotiations which he says need to continue.
We'll work our way through this drama, but my goal is let's keep it open. Let's keep negotiations going. There are hard things that be negotiated. There is overspending happening here. We need to get that overspending taken care of, but not while there's a shutdown.
Yeah, and a lot of questions about what this all means, the government shutdown. In response to what's happening on Capitol Hill, there's an emergency town hall in Del City, which is bordering Tinker Air Force Base. It's hosted by the Oklahoma Democratic Party, set for 6 at the Patriot Event Center. To register, we have a link posted on KOCO.com. And Social Security payments are going to continue despite the government shutdown. There's an updated contingency plan for it. The Social Security Administration says they will still take new applications and appeals, but some internal functions won't be available. This could also mean recipients have to wait longer to see how much their monthly payments are going to go up come next year. The Oklahoma City National Memorial Museum says it's going to stay open during the shutdown, although it's a National Park Service affiliate. Rangers won't be on site to interpret the outdoor symbolic memorial during the shutdown. You can get the latest updates on the government shutdown as it develops. It's a developing story. Download the KOCO app, free to download wherever you get your apps, and you can stay up to date. Okay, let's go to some of your other developing headlines from this morning. 2 separate crashes in the same area along the Broadway extension. Both of them cleared now, but we were getting video of both of them during rush hour. The first one happened minutes before 6 o'clock, involved a semi and a car. Another one just behind it happened right after the first one cleared up. The second one about 7 o'clock is when that cleared. That was on the Broadway extension, but as of right now, you should be good to go. Oklahoma City police chasing after 2 motorcycles on the interstate. The suspects made it away. They got away. Police didn't say where or when the chase started, but they told us it happened on I-40. They lost track of the motorcyclists close to Choctaw Road. They don't have a description right now of the suspects. Ryan Walters officially starts his job as CEO for the Teacher Freedom Alliance today. He's officially resigned as state superintendent. That was yesterday. He sent a resignation letter to the governor's office and says in part, quote, "We expanded choice and opportunity so families, not bureaucrats, could shape the future of their children. We are told that the governor's office is expected to appoint someone to be the new state superintendent at some point this week. We'll have to watch real closely to see who that name may be." Okay, we keep it at the state capitol. A conversation about child tax credits, a committee that looked at the impact of Oklahoma's current child tax credit and how it could be better. State Senator Nikki Nice of OKC led the study. She says it's important to modernize the current credit to extend to more families to improve their quality of life, but at the same time also benefiting the state.
It will help strengthen the quality of life for families and enhance the economic well-being of the state, as families will spend that money directly within our local economy and generate more sales tax revenue.
An economist also says families who earn under $50,000, which is most of rural Oklahoma, don't benefit much from the credit because they generally don't owe a lot on their state income tax. Studies like these often lead to bills to be considered in the legislative session. That would be picking back up in February. We go to Tulsa right now. A firefighter there is being remembered this morning after they were killed in a crash yesterday. The department remembering them as a trusted colleague and a respected leader. In a post to social media, the Tulsa Fire Department says they served the community with, quote, courage, dedication, and compassion. Congressman Kevin Hern of Oklahoma calling it a tragic loss, asking people to keep the department in their prayers. This is new this morning. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation is looking into an officer-involved shooting that happened in Duncan. OSPI says Duncan police got the call about shots fired from the Duncan Inn Motel around 8:45 yesterday morning. They got there, found the man with a gun. The suspect, police say that man did not respond to their commands. That's when shots were fired. The suspect was hurt at the scene, taken to the hospital. We're told they were in critical condition.